In 2 of the last 5 races at Circuit of the Americas, Christopher Bell has prevented Kyle Busch a victory. After Sunday, make it 3. And this time, Busch has had enough. He's plotting revenge and has lashed out at Bell after the race at COTA. Should Busch have won? And did Bell cross a line overtaking and bumping him? Unlike the previous 2 occasions that Bell exposed Busch to the finer details of the COTA turf, this time he did so cleanly. No bumper, no drama. Just a well-timed move with 5 laps to go. He even pulled William Byron, last year's COTA winner, along for the ride, resulting in a 4-car scrap with Busch and pole sitter Tyler Reddick in the final laps. However, just a couple laps before his passing move, he almost bumped Busch of the road. Busch, who led the most laps of the day, 42, must have felt like he was watching his wallet slip into a crowded subway. His car gradually faded from contention, leaving Bell, Byron, and Reddick to face off. In the end, Bell finished .433 seconds ahead of Byron. The Joe Gibbs Racing driver became the first to win back-to-back races in the first 3 races of the season since 2018, following a last-lap robbery in Atlanta the previous week. "Whenever Kyle was leading, I was just trying to be so cautious," Bell said. "Obviously, we know what happened last year. I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to pass him clean. He was just doing such a good job at running his race, and he could get off the corners just good enough that I couldn't get inside of him. But there I started peeking a nose, and he bobbled and allowed me to get out front. Whenever I did, I'm like, okay, just don't beat yourself." Those were about the 5 or 6 sloppiest laps I've ever run. If there were any remaining concerns regarding NASCAR's decision to cut a mile from the COTA layout, the final 10 laps should put them to rest. It turns out that shorter is better. Bell's decision to remain out 1 lap longer than Busch at the last pit stop provided him with just enough fresher tires to take the lead, and ultimately, his first COTA victory. "I just wish that maybe we had equal tires to the number 20, Christopher Bell," Busch said. "I don't know if that was all the difference. I know he was really fast and he had a good race car. I feel like that might have been able to help hold me on a little bit better to him. But even that last yellow flag that we had, I felt like the gap that I had to the field, I was far enough out front that I could run the clean lines, the lines that I wanted, to preserve the tires and take care of them as much as I could to see if he could get there. But once we had that yellow, then it was just defensive mode. You're in complete and utter just beat the heck out of the tires at that point, and I just didn't have it over the number 20. Reddick finished 3rd behind Byron, with Chase Elliott finishing 4th after a stunning recovery. As for Busch, he finished 5th, bringing his winless record to a heartbreaking 60 races. Next stop, Phoenix Raceway. Who is the defending winner? Chris Bell. Can he go 3 in a row? We'll have to wait and see. But at this point, it would be crazy to bet against him. "We didn't count last week," Bell explained. "Last week was a speedway. We didn't have that one circled. We definitely had this one circled. I'm ready to keep adding to it." However, Busch may be out for vengeance next week. Kyle Busch drove hard for the win at the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix at COTA on Sunday, but he came up short and finished 5th. His race with Christopher Bell down the stretch, however, was thrilling for the audience. Busch had to deal with a late caution, which shortened his advantage significantly and allowed Bell to get into position to make the pass. Bell attempted to do so, but collided with Busch's car, causing damage. Kyle Busch was not pleased with that after the race. "That was it on pushing the car," Busch said, according to Brett Winningham of Speedway Digest. "I just wish we had equal tires to the 20. Once we had that yellow, you're just in defense mode. Hated the contact in 2 and 3 bent the toe link." Busch's late slip prevented him from winning his first race in 59 Cup Series outings, a remarkable streak that is becoming increasingly difficult to endure. But Busch raced a great race as long as his stuff held up. And to his credit, Kyle Busch praised Bell for running it cleanly without attempting a takeout. Ultimately, he told The Athletic's Jeff Gluck that the caution flag made the difference. As nice as he was to Bell, he was not so nice to NASCAR, which created more problems. This time around, there are track constraints. So even though Sunday's Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix at COTA was largely free of controversy if you look past the widespread track limit confusion at the beginning of Stage 2. Kyle Busch didn't forget, and after the race, he called NASCAR out for not knowing its own regulations. "I heard they were going to police turns 4, 5, and 6, and then it turned into 3, 4, 5, and yesterday, it was only 4 and 5. They ain't got a clue," Busch said. After Stage 1, Busch stated on his radio that he spotted racers such as Shane Van Gisbergen repeatedly cutting the track in Turn 6. During Stage 1, no drivers received a penalty for cutting the course at Turn 6. Why was this the case? NASCAR advised teams that they will only enforce track limits in Turns 3, 4, and 5. NASCAR advised Richard Childress Racing that Turn 6 was wide open for cutting the course. NASCAR told drivers in the pre-race meeting, "Vehicles must run the full course at all times. You will be judged as missing or shortcutting when all 4 tires are on the non-track side of the red and white rumble strips that define the apex of the turns," paired Jeff Gluck. Gluck also stated that there was no discussion at the drivers' meeting regarding which turns would be officiated. Kyle Larson was hit almost immediately after Stage 2 began, and drivers were reminded of NASCAR's revised track restriction guideline. Larson violated Turn 3 and was punished. When Larson was given the penalty, he claimed, "I didn't know they were calling 3. When asked if NASCAR should eliminate track limits at COTA, Busch responded emphatically, "No. No, because then you'll just straight shot Turn 3 all the way to Turn 6. Don't do that. No, you got to have track limits," Busch said. "We need to be a professional racing league that knows how to handle it professionally on a racetrack. You look at Formula 1, V8 supercar, and who the hell else that races road course racing, and they all have track limits, and they all obey the track. I don't think Turn 6 was policed very well today, so we all just started taking advantage of it and running through the dirt." What are your thoughts on the race, and notably the Busch race? Do you get his criticism and anger? Although Busch did not get what he wanted, the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix at COTA on Sunday established NASCAR Cup Series history with a thrilling race in which Christopher Bell won. Bell proved unstoppable in the final stretch, claiming back-to-back Cup Series victories for the first time since 2023. What makes it even more incredible is that he accomplished this in one of the most competitive fields in road course racing history. According to NASCAR Insights, the race at COTA saw 20 total lead changes. This was tied for the most on a road course in Cup Series history, with 1980 Riverside and 1970 Riverside. The lead changed hands many times in the final stretch, with Bell eventually passing Kyle Busch and holding on for the win over a hard-charging William Byron and Tyler Reddick. Busch had a significant lead over Bell with a few laps remaining when calamity struck. After an accident between Denny Hamlin and Austin Dillon off a turn, Bell was able to draw closer on the restart, putting him in a position to strike. When Bell attempted the pass at COTA to grab the lead, he originally made touch with Busch's car door-to-door. Busch's toe link bent as a result, and his car was never the same down the stretch, completely spent. Busch's late slip prevented him from winning his first race in 59 Cup Series outings, a remarkable streak that is becoming increasingly difficult to endure. But Busch raced a great race as long as his stuff held up. Bell was only slightly superior at COTA on Sunday, securing another hard-fought victory. What is your assessment on the race? Did you enjoy it?